Okay, this is a do-it-yourself video for my version of rock sliders on a budget for your Jeep Commander. I didn't weld anything. All I did was cut 4 pieces of metal about 7 to 8 feet long, bevel the ends, pre-drilled some holes, cut out some notches, and mounted them. They're both mounted separately. They're not joined, none of the pieces are joined together. Like I said, on a budget, I spent about $37 on angle iron, and I purchased 14 feet of 3/8 angle iron, and then I purchased 14 feet of 1/16 angle iron. Now, if I were to do it all over again, I would probably get 16 feet of 1/8 angle iron, and you'll see why later on. The tools that I used to do this was a 4-inch angle grinder. I used one of these blades. Also a table cutting saw with a metal cutting blade. Luckily, my dad had all these tools already, so I didn't have to buy anything. Like I said, all I had to buy was the metal. I had screws laying around, I had nuts and bolts laying around. I used about a can of spray paint, one primer and one black. Just crap I had laying around, always doing stuff. But like I said, material wise, just metal, probably 37, 40 bucks. You know, if you get 30 feet like I wanted to. But first thing I did, 3/8 metal, go ahead and just cut that on a 30-degree bevel, and I did so, and I mounted it as close as I could after I did the pinch weld. Okay, and I'll show you why I get that. I'll show you my measurements. Okay, pulling from the long of a 30-degree bevel, overall length is 71 inches to the other long of a 30-degree bevel. Again, 71 if you can't see that. Now, about 2/3 of the way down, there's a notch right here. And you might have saw it on the first video I made, but there's a notch from here at about 38 inches. The notch goes all the way to 53 inches. And the reason for that is right here. Here's the front door. Here's a back door. There is a dip in the body. And I made about a 1/2-inch notch just on the back side of the angle iron. Measure about a 1/2-inch deep across the top, 1/2-inch deep across the bottom, and just notch it out using these 2 measurements I gave you. So when you bump it up there, it stays as flush as possible across the bottom of the body, as close as you can to the pinch weld seam. Okay, after you get everything notched and beveled, I got a C-clamp. Held the angle iron up like this. I used 2 C-clamps, one on each end, but I held it up like this. That way I could get a marker and mark the holes. There's 6 of them. They're already here in the body. You don't have to drill anything. 1, 2, 3, 4, and there's 2 right back here behind the camera. I just marked the hole with the marker, and then using, these are called Hylocks, something else I got from my dad. They're pretty nifty. They have a hex head right there on that end, and the nuts on this side as well. The head is as flush as can be. It says there's 100 plates. So I was able to tighten everything from this side. Get the washers. These are 1/4 inch thick and about 7/8 long. So just something close to that will work. I'm pretty sure you just can't pick these up at Home Depot or AutoZone. But mark your holes, drill in the angle iron, and using a C-clamp again to hold it back up after you drilled all your holes. Tighten it down, and that's it for the bottom piece. This is the only thing that holds it on, and I know it's not as strong as the freaking X-Guard or the Steel Armadillo stuff that's like $300-400, but I didn't have $300-400, and this 3/16 angle iron I think is pretty heavy duty for what I will be doing. It sticks up. You can see it sticks down about a little more than 1/2 inch, maybe 3/4. I'm not going to be slamming down on it and balancing my Jeep off of it, so I think it's good enough for me. Alright, now for this top piece. Like I said, it's not connected to this piece. I just did this. It is angle iron. I didn't get it as thick as this because it's mostly just really heavy duty trim, 1/8. First off, this end is beveled on a 30 as well, but it's not just one side is like this down here. This one's straight and this one's beveled. I beveled the whole. I laid it flat like that and just beveled the whole thing because I knew it was gonna sit kind of on an angle. If anybody is taking off this trim, you'll know that down the side of the body, back right here, the metal's like it's curved like a bubble. So bevel this end on a 30. Now, remember when I said I would have purchased a little more metal if I were to redo this? And this is why. 7 feet only gets to right here after you bevel that in on the long. But if I were to redo it, I could make it 74 long to long, and this wouldn't be straight. It'd come to there and it'd be flush with the trim, unless you're gonna like some of those guys that like to trim that off. I guess maybe I can do that later, because I'm really not gonna go out and redo this just for 2 more inches. But 74 inches long to long, 30-degree bevels. That's it for the overall length. Okay, if you remember the bottom piece, I had to make a notch so it could sit as best as possible up against the body. Top piece, after you do your bevels on each end, 74 inches long, you have to do the same thing here. Metal trim, part of the body. I made this notch right here, and it's not even, it's basically as deep as that Sharpie. Okay, just take your own measurements, because since I didn't make it all the way to the edge of the fender well, my measurement would be short, and I don't want to give you all a wrong measurement. Actually, I advise y'all to remeasure everything on your own. I don't want any bad comments on this video, but just notch that out right there. Like I said, that's for this piece of trim, piece of the body, so that this can sit as flush as possible up against the door jamb. Okay, like I said, if I hadn't made that notch, this is pretty flush with the trim, and if I hadn't made that notch, it'd probably stick out, and it wouldn't be as pretty as it looks. Same thing down here. It's pretty flush, if you can see that. And I think I did a pretty damn good job. It's for being as cheap as I was. Now, last but not least, the only thing holding it on is self-tapping screws, and these are exactly the ones I had left over. I got these at Home Depot, number 8 by 1 inch. So I just have a bunch of these, and I kind of just spaced them out. I tried to do 10 inches, but note that from the edge to the wheel well, my first one isn't to here, isn't all the way till almost 16-17 inches, and vice versa. From the front of the wheel well to the first screw, it's like about 19. And the reason why is there's nothing back here, because that bubble starts literally like right here, and the bubble ends somewhere like right there. There's nothing back here. That's why all the bolts are concentrated in the middle, and I put a couple along the top and I put a couple along the bottom. That way, if I did hit something, it wasn't gonna bend it or pry it off. I just wanted it to be on there as tight as possible. I was gonna go back with some paint and probably paint the heads of the self-tapping screws black. And just so y'all know, everything I did on the passenger side is exactly the same on the driver's side. Any questions, just message me on my Facebook or make a comment on the link, and I'll try to help you. It's really simple. Like I said, I didn't weld anything. I just cut everything and pre-drilled all the holes. And if I didn't mention, I pre-drilled these holes for the self-tapping screws. I'm sorry this video isn't spliced together perfectly. I didn't think I was going to get the response I did, and I just I kind of took pictures and a little bit of video in between, so sorry it's not more detailed. Sorry I don't have any more measurements for you, but like I said, just message me and I'll try to help you out. It's very simple. Thank you.